Have you ever felt like one tiny shift could change everything? Your finances, your energy, your future? Because Leo, this might be that moment. Hello, radiant Leo soul. Welcome to Eternal Mindfulness, where divine timing is never a coincidence. You didn't land on this video by chance. Something in the cosmos, something in your vibration, pulled you here at the exact right time. And the truth is, you're ready. This is not just another zodiac reading. This is a sacred activation, a ritual, a code, and a vibration shift that could unlock doors you felt stuck behind for months, or even years. Today's message is for Leo, the sign of boldness, brilliance, and unapologetic light. But even the brightest flames sometimes feel dimmed by energy blocks, financial stress, or emotional clutter. And that's why what we're about to explore, the Salt plus Glass ritual, combined with a powerful angel code, is so important right now. Let me ask you something, from one conscious soul to another. What if abundance wasn't something you chased, but something you tuned into? What if money, clarity, and miracles were already circling your field, just waiting for you to shift your frequency and say yes? That's exactly what this video is here to help you do. We're going to talk about the hidden power of salt, yes, simple kitchen salt, as a vibrational amplifier. We'll walk through how one glass of water, one sacred number, and one intentional act can recalibrate your frequency from survival to receiving. It's easy, it's ancient, and it's powerful. Before we dive in, I want to invite you to be part of the energy we're creating here. If you've been seeing repeating numbers, maybe 111, 777, or 444, comment them below now. That's not random. That's your angel team, trying to get your attention. Go ahead and drop that sacred number in the comments to confirm your connection with this message. And now, allow me just a moment to say thank you from the deepest part of my heart. For every like, every comment, every subscription, you're not just supporting a channel. You're helping co-create a space where real transformation happens. A space where ancient wisdom meets everyday magic. Thank you for being here. Your energy truly means the world. And Leo, believe me when I say, you'll want to stay with me until the very end of this message. Because what the universe is about to reveal to you is nothing short of extraordinary. So let's begin. Let's return to your energy. Let's remember your light. And let's open the door to the abundance that's already looking for you. Are you ready? So now that you've been guided here, not by accident, but by the subtle rhythm of the universe, let's return to something essential. Something that may sound simple but holds enormous creative power, your energy. Everything you experience begins first as a vibration. And that vibration begins with you. The way you wake up in the morning, the thoughts that follow you like a soft drumbeat, the stories you silently tell yourself, all of it sends out a frequency that quietly shapes what returns to you. This is not a metaphor. It's a pattern. A dance between your inner world and the outer reflection you call life. In this current astrological cycle, the Sun, your ruling planet, Leo, is energizing your second house of value, worth, and material flow. That's why this moment feels like a crossroads between doubt and possibility. You might find that new financial opportunities are arising in strange or unexpected ways. You might also notice old patterns around self-worth coming up to be seen, not to shame you, but to be released. Because as the energy of May swells and pulses, it's asking you one thing: what are you radiating? Think of money not as a destination, but as a song, one that plays in harmony with certain vibrations. If your field is heavy with resentment, comparison, or anxiety, that song becomes muffled. If your thoughts carry joy, appreciation, and trust, even in the smallest of ways, then the song of abundance begins to rise in clarity. You do not chase abundance. You become aligned with it. The rest unfolds. Many have asked, if I'm doing all the right things, why hasn't it arrived yet? But the answer often lies beneath the surface. Not in what you're doing, but in how you're being. The energy you send out is like a whisper the universe is always listening to. That's why it's not just about what you ask for, it's about how you ask. With fear? With doubt? Or with a quiet sense of readiness and openness? Pause, just for a moment. Gently close your eyes. Place your hand over your heart. And ask yourself, what am I truly vibrating today? Not the mask, not the smile you put on, but the pulse beneath all that. Is it peaceful? Rushed? Lonely? Hopeful? There is no wrong answer, only information. And the more honest you are with yourself, the more power you begin to reclaim. Energy, like breath, cannot be forced. It must be allowed. When you hold a seed, you don't shout at it to grow. You simply give it the right conditions, warmth, light, space, and let it rise in its own rhythm. In the same way, your frequency must be nurtured. It doesn't need you to strive harder. It needs you to return to your center. There's a quiet teaching, often passed down without words, that says, when the mind is still, the path appears. And your path to abundance may not lie in a grand external change, but in a simple shift, in how you carry yourself, in how you soften into the present, in how you respond when life moves slower than expected. You don't have to figure everything out right now. Just begin by noticing. Take 3 minutes today, no more, no less, and simply observe. How does your body feel? What emotions are lingering in the background? What thoughts are looping again and again? You are not those thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. And that awareness is powerful. Remember, Leo, the light doesn't need to search for the world. It simply shines, and the world rearranges around it. What you vibrate is not just energy. It is instruction. It is creation. It is choice. And in this very moment, you hold the power to choose again. Salt has been in your kitchen, your memories, your meals, but have you ever paused long enough to feel its deeper presence? Not just as a seasoning, but as a silent keeper of clarity, a quiet witness to the energy that passes through your body and space each day. As we continue this journey together, let's turn our attention to the most humble yet powerful element in your home: salt. In ancient traditions, salt was never just practical, it was sacred. Carried on trade routes like treasure, offered in rituals of renewal, and used to preserve what must be protected. Why? Because salt doesn't just sit passively. It absorbs. It cleanses. It holds. And in doing so, it offers something subtle yet profound: space. space for new energy to enter, space for what is heavy to be gently drawn out. It doesn't push, it draws. It listens. It transforms. Energetically speaking, salt is one of the most efficient carriers of purification. It has the ability to absorb what cannot be seen but is certainly felt: tension, fatigue, the residue of too many thoughts pressed into one day. In this way, salt becomes like a compassionate friend. It doesn't need words. It simply receives. And as it receives, it restores balance. If you've been feeling weighed down, emotionally, mentally, physically, this is a gentle call to reconnect with the quiet ritual of salt. Not because it is magic in the fantastical sense, but because it brings you back to the truth. Your body is energy, your space is energy, and energy needs tending. When you toss a small pinch of salt over your shoulder, especially the upper back, you are performing more than just a symbolic act. That area of your body is known to carry emotional tension, especially when we've been holding ourselves up too long, trying to manage more than we speak aloud. The movement of tossing salt isn't just a release, it's a physical reminder that you don't have to carry it all. That you're allowed to let go. For those of you living fast, always in motion, the idea of a long salt bath might feel luxurious but unrealistic. That's okay. Even rubbing coarse salt into your skin in the shower for just 30 seconds, letting it dissolve and rinse away, can be enough to shift your vibration. It doesn't take hours. It takes intention. When you touch your own skin with care, even for a brief moment, you're sending a signal to your nervous system: I'm here. I'm choosing presence. There's also something quietly brilliant about placing salt in your shoes. Our feet are our connection to the earth, to gravity, to groundedness. And yet we often neglect them, especially when stress pulls us up into the spinning thoughts of the mind. By placing a bit of salt under your soles, you create a gentle reminder with every step: I am supported. I walk with intention. I walk with clearing energy. It's a subtle, almost invisible ritual, but you will feel its impact in how you move through the world. The symbol of the Nine of Pentacles in the tarot beautifully mirrors this energy. It speaks of a woman who is self-possessed, serene, surrounded by beauty not because she chased it, but because she created space for it. Her wealth is not loud, it is luminous. She knows the power of quiet rituals, of tending to herself, of not waiting to be rescued from the chaos of the world but instead creating peace from within. That is the vibration salt carries. And it's the vibration you can carry too. If you feel called, write in the comments: salt is light. Let it be your affirmation, your activation. Not because the words are magic, but because your focus is. When you choose to see the sacred in the simple, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. And when you treat your energy with care, the universe always listens. Let today be a soft return to that knowing. You don't need to search for the light. You just need to clear enough space for it to shine through. The rituals we choose, even the quietest ones, have the power to rewire not just our energy, but the way we relate to ourselves. After all, it's not just about performing an act, it's about what that act calls forward from within us. And this next one, though simple in form, carries a kind of precision that speaks directly to the subconscious mind: the saltwater glass ritual. Water holds memory. Salt holds purification. When you combine them with intention, you create a container, both literal and symbolic, for clearing out what no longer serves you and attracting what's ready to arrive. What makes this ritual unique isn't the objects involved, but the awareness behind them. A clear glass, clean water, a spoonful of salt, these things exist in every home. But when placed with purpose, they become tools. Mirrors. Reminders. The practice is this: take a piece of paper and write the angel number 71269 on it. According to numerology, these digits carry frequencies of abundance and clarity. When added together, 7 plus 1 plus 2 plus 6 plus 9, you get 25, which reduces to 7, the number of introspection, wisdom, and higher truth. Not a number of speed, but of stillness. Of listening. And that's exactly what this ritual invites you to do: pause, create space, and let something deeper take shape. Beneath the number, write an affirmation, not as wishful thinking, but as declaration: I am a magnet for success, prosperity, and abundance. Speak it aloud if you can. Let your voice carry it. Then, place the glass, filled 3/4 with clean water and a spoonful of salt, directly on top of the paper. And here's the most important part: put it somewhere elevated. A shelf. A cabinet. Somewhere above eye level. Not because that spot is magical, but because elevation represents perspective. It reminds you to rise above the noise, to hold your energy with intention rather than reacting to what surrounds you. For 7 days, don't touch it. Don't overthink it. Simply allow the salt and water to do what they do best: absorb, soften, reorganize. Just as your body knows how to breathe without your control, this ritual works in ways the conscious mind doesn't need to manage. At the end of the 7 days, pour it down the drain or toilet, not as a rejection, but as a release. Let it go. Let it carry away what is ready to be cleared, making room for what's coming next. This is not about superstition. It's about psychology and energy, working together through structure. Just like how the breath becomes the anchor in meditation, this ritual becomes the anchor for your intention. It tells your body, we are holding space for better. And slowly, your body believes you. There's something deeply human in our need to externalize the internal. When we clean our home, we feel clearer inside. When we light a candle, we feel softer. These small, repeated actions help us return to presence. And presence is the birthplace of every transformation. You might choose to repeat this for another cycle: 7 days, 21 days, even 40. There is no rule. Only rhythm. Choose what feels aligned. But more importantly, follow through. Commit to yourself. To your clarity. To your own ability to transform. And if you feel called, leave a comment below with the number of days you'll commit to this ritual. Let it be your quiet contract with the future you are already becoming. When we speak of timing in astrology, we're not just mapping stars, we're tracing seasons of the soul. And for you, Leo, this moment marks the quiet opening of a new cycle in your relationship with value, both the tangible kind, like income and resources, and the invisible kind, like self-worth and clarity. With expansive Jupiter activating your second house from May through June, the energy is shifting beneath the surface. It's not a loud shift. It's a spacious one. The kind that doesn't force a door open but invites you to walk through with awareness. This house governs not only money, but the way you assign meaning to what you receive, keep, and give. So if you've been feeling like your finances have plateaued or that your efforts haven't been matched by reward, this could be the month where things start moving, but only if you're willing to see them differently. Prosperity, after all, doesn't always knock in the form you expect. Sometimes, it comes disguised as a new skill you didn't know you needed. Sometimes, it comes as a moment of stillness that clears the noise and lets an idea land. In parallel, the tarot speaks its own language, and right now, that language is brimming with potential. The star arrives as a symbol of hope, yes, but also of clarity. It shows up after the storm has passed. Its light is not blinding, it's soft, like moonlight on water. A gentle reminder that what you've been through has meaning, and that renewal is not about rushing back, it's about returning slowly to what feels true. Then comes the Ace of Pentacles, pure, fertile energy in its most grounded form. It speaks of opportunity, but not just the kind you wait for. It represents an offering, but one that you must meet halfway. This card asks, will you plant what you've been given? Will you water it with action, not just intention? And finally, Temperance, a card that reminds us the real art is in the balance. Not between chaos and control, but between effort and ease, will and surrender. This is the energy of sustainable success. The kind that doesn't burn you out but builds from within. Together, these three cards create a quiet but powerful invitation. Financially, you may soon find yourself revisiting a familiar skill or project, but with a different lens. What once felt limiting could now feel like a launch pad if you're willing to shift your approach. It's not always about starting over. Sometimes, it's about starting again, differently. When it comes to your health, the message is simple but clear. Support your body so your energy can rise to meet these opportunities. Reconnect with basics that nourish your system, hydration, mineral-rich foods, a little sun on your skin. The body is the instrument through which energy flows. When it's cared for, it becomes a cleaner channel. And in love, the guidance is even gentler. Stop trying to prove that you're lovable. You already are. Let your presence speak louder than performance. You don't need to convince anyone of your worth. Not now, not ever. Let your radiance be natural. Let it be soft. The right people will see it. As for your work and purpose, this is the season to experiment. If a certain direction feels stale, don't force it. Try a new strategy, not with aggression, but with curiosity. Sometimes all it takes is a single pivot in your thinking for everything else to shift around you. So here's a question worth carrying into the rest of your day. If money were a close friend, how would you describe your relationship right now? Have you ignored it, clung to it, resented it? Or have you treated it with trust, with respect, with gratitude? Your answer may say more about your frequency than any spreadsheet ever could. And where your frequency goes, your reality follows. When we speak of abundance, we're not just referring to the flow of money or opportunity. We're talking about the quiet decision to live from a place of openness rather than lack. And often, what bridges the gap between scarcity and prosperity isn't a dramatic shift in circumstance, but a subtle commitment to how you begin and end each day. Small choices. Gentle rituals. A return to the present moment. The truth is, you don't need to wait for everything in your life to be perfectly aligned before you start embodying abundance. In fact, it's often the practice of acting as if, of choosing presence, confidence, and gratitude now, that calls the shift into reality. That's why what you do in the first few moments of your morning matters. Before your thoughts start running, before the world asks anything of you, there's a space. And in that space, you can plant a seed. The first seed, a simple phrase, spoken with intention. Today, I shine, and money finds its way to me. Not because it's magic, but because words, when repeated with feeling, begin to reshape the internal narrative. You are not just making a statement, you're setting a tone. The tone of receptivity, of grounded optimism. And it's not about money chasing you, it's about your energy becoming a natural match for the abundance already circling. As the day unfolds, life will respond. Not always with fireworks, but with alignment. A conversation opens a door. An idea feels lighter. The tension in your chest softens. And in the evening, you close the loop. Before sleep pulls you inward, take a moment to stand still, to acknowledge the weight you've carried. Then, with a single pinch of salt tossed gently over your back, release what you no longer need. This small act, though silent, speaks volumes to your nervous system. It says, you are safe. You are held. You don't need to bring today's burdens into tomorrow. Ritual isn't about perfection, it's about rhythm. And the rhythm of letting go is just as vital as the rhythm of calling in. The final layer is visibility, not to others, but to yourself. Write your affirmation, and beneath it, the angel code 71269. Place it somewhere you'll see it often. A mirror. A desk. A space where your eyes naturally land. Let it serve as a visual cue, not just to what you're asking for, but to who you're becoming. You're not becoming someone new, you're remembering someone true. The version of you who knew that light doesn't need to force its way into the room. It simply shines, and the room shifts around it. So much of what we call progress is really about remembering. Returning to clarity. Coming back to the breath, to your body, to the moment where power lives. Not in the future or the past, but in the quiet choice you make right now. That's the essence of practice. Not striving, but softening. Not controlling, but aligning. When you choose to walk with intention, even if the steps are small, you begin to walk differently. You begin to glow from within. And that glow does more than illuminate, it attracts. If any part of this resonates with you, try even just one of these steps today. Anchor yourself in the present. Speak life into your mornings. Create a moment of release before sleep. Write down your affirmation. Let it become a thread you return to, not because you need to prove anything, but because you've remembered what you are. If you feel ready, drop a comment below. I choose light and abundance. Let those words be your quiet declaration to the universe, and more importantly, to yourself. Leo, if you've made it this far, then something within you already knows. This moment isn't just another passing minute in your day. It's a subtle turning point. And not because of anything outside of you, but because of what you're beginning to feel inside. A soft certainty, a quiet yes, a remembering of your own light. The greatest miracle isn't waiting out there in some distant timeline. It's here. In the decision you make right now. In the energy you choose to embody when no one is watching. In how you speak to yourself when things are uncertain. This entire journey, from vibration to salt, from ritual to reflection, has been pointing you toward one truth. You are already carrying everything you've been seeking. You've remembered that money is not a finish line, it's a frequency. That salt is not just a mineral, it's a tool of release, of protection, of clarity. You've remembered that change doesn't demand chaos. Sometimes, it begins with a whisper, a morning mantra, a glass of water left with intention, a handwritten code that quietly shifts your inner world. So I invite you now, gently, powerfully, to try. Not because you're desperate. Not because you're broken. But because you are ready. Try the ritual. Speak the affirmation. Let your body relax into the practice of letting go. Let your frequency soften into receiving. The universe does not require perfection. It does not run on time. It runs on alignment. And the moment you shift your energy, you shift what you allow. You don't have to believe everything will change in a day. But believe that you are allowed to begin. That your steps matter. That your presence already carries the seeds of the very abundance you long for. And if something in this message landed in your heart, if you felt seen, remembered, maybe even a little stirred, then please don't keep that feeling silent. Share it. Anchor it. Leave a comment with the number 71269 to signal that you are ready for more. That you're open to the magic of alignment. That you're not just listening to another video, you're saying yes to your next level. And if this video felt like it arrived at exactly the right moment, I want you to know that's no coincidence. Timing is always precise when the soul is listening. So take a breath. Take a step. And take your power back. Thank you, truly, for sharing this space with me. Every like you leave, every comment, every subscription isn't just support for this channel, it's an energetic ripple. It helps this message find the next soul who needs it. And together, we become more than viewers. We become a field of transformation. You, Leo, are not waiting for permission to shine. You were born radiant. And now you remember. Let's carry that light forward. I'll see you in the next message. Until then, stay in your frequency, stay in your truth, and stay open.